Okay, Kerry, you okay?
I am.
All right.
We're gonna do something. We're gonna do something really different tonight. Everybody that's on here, we're gonna tell them their name, their address, their social security number, their phone number, and how much they owe the IRS. We're gonna help them out tonight.
Who's doing that?
I'm just kidding. We're not. I'm just...
Yeah.
Hey, you know better than that. You wouldn't give them to them if they were torturing you.
You ain't getting mine.
Oh.
Okay, has anybody got any questions on her tonight? Y'all gonna let us have a real nice short night?
I got a question for you. This is Tori from North Carolina. Hey, Kerry. Hey, Ed.
Hey, good to hear from you.
Yeah, good to hear from you guys, too. Hey, so ever since I got my court order, I started, and, you know, I was in the process of filing bankruptcy, and I filed a revocation of election, and I got my court order through the court and was given a motion to dismiss for lack of jurisdiction for no notices of deficiency and no notices of determination for years 2003 through 2018. And that came to me in May of 2018. No, 2019, excuse me. And last summer, so in there, I filed bankruptcy. My bankruptcy case was over with about the same time I got my court order. So they stopped levying my paycheck, and last summer, in June of 2020, they started, all of the offices of the IRS started telling me that I owed them money, that I still had a balance, all the blah, 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 blah. I made copies of the certified copy of the court order and about the first 7 or 8 pages of the motion that determined that, and then wrote them all letters letting them know that, you know, they were trespassing on a court order. Well, I got a letter from Texas, Utah, Pennsylvania, and then the local office here in North Carolina was the last one that I got telling me that they were going to levy me for about $151,000 and change. Now, they're saying that these are civil penalties that they're wanting to levy me for because I was forced and harassed into filing about 9 years worth of back 1040s by that gal who was up my butt left and sideways. So I filled out a 1040 EZ, and then I filled out a, I'm not going to remember this number correctly. It was at 2685 or something. It wasn't a 1099 OID, but it essentially said that I didn't owe them any money, and I don't. I don't owe them any money, and I didn't have to file a form, but I did anyway. So now they've got all these civil penalties attached to me, and I'd like to quiet this once and for all. I called that lawyer in, I called that fella, your CPA buddy, and he asked me to call this lawyer in Texas, and I called him, and he had one of the lawyers in his office give me a jingle, and he told me that he wasn't about to take my case because he had failed to keep a man out of jail 10 years earlier, and he just didn't know enough about the tax law to try to prosecute in a federal court. So I got a letter today in the mail from the Pennsylvania office, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania office. It's a civil penalty 2645C, dated the 18th of February, and it says, we have a matter. We received one of the following items from one of your authorized third parties. I have no idea who that is.
They need more time.
Yeah, they need more time. They need 90 more days.
Now, that's good for you. Now, let me tell you what we're doing with what I'm doing with those.
Okay.
In 90 days, if you don't get another one, you write one just like that, saying you're looking for one of the following. You make something up: check, deposit, cash, silver coin. Whatever you say. Say, I am diligently trying my best to get it, and word it just like that. You need 90 more days. You're done. I got one today also that said, we're still looking into the matter from January the 3rd, 2019. It just turned over 2 years, and they're still asking for 90 more days. Because, see, what happens is they don't know what to do. So this is you're done. You're done playing with them now, see. Now you can just set yourself up, because I got the same exact letter, got it today. It might have been yesterday. And they're asking for 90 more days, and it's for my question that I asked from January 3rd, 2019.
Well, you know, that letter that I sent to that woman in North Carolina, they received it on the 31st because I got their signature card back. And in it, I labeled, I listed all 7 of the taxpayers,
Yeah.
And I said, which one of these am I?
Right. So now you ask them a question. See, they can't answer you. So now what's happened is they need 90 more days. Just kind of mark it on the calendar. In 89 days, make the look. You'll get another one asking for more time. But I just got one, and it broke over the 2-year mark. So what you need to do is on 89 days, make out the letter saying you're looking for one of the following. Check, deposit, and look at what they said. Maybe you could use a couple of those. Say, I'm diligently, just word it like they did. I'm diligently looking for it. It's excluded. I just can't find it, but I'm working diligently on it. So I'm taking 90 more days. You don't need to do anything else. Right. Don't write, don't call, don't look, don't even sneak this way. And just word it and go ahead and mail it off. So now you've got something, you've got 2 years of relief now.
I'd like relief permanently. Are they going to dry up and dribble away?
Yeah.
Okay.
They will. But you got at least a while now.
In the meantime.
And in the meantime, we can maybe come up with something for you.
Okay. Well, thanks. I'm glad that you're here tonight, and thanks, Ed, for sending me the invite.
And thank you for being here tonight. And thank you for sharing.
Absolutely.
Okay. Do we have anybody else on here that would like to talk? Ask us a question. Ed, did I lose you?
Hello?
Oh. Yeah.
Hello? Yeah, this is Bruce in Michigan. Hello, fellas. Hello, Ed and Gary.
Hey, how are you?
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you like you're in the same room as me.
Oh, good. Hey, I hope you all doing well with the stuff that's going on down in Texas. But I back last year, late last year, I lost in the U.S. tax court for what they're alleging I owe, which I disagree with. And the first of the year I filed with the appeals court, and I just recently got notification of the appeals. I have I have a case number is what I have at this point, and I'm just going
All
to...
Right. You're lucky. Okay? Let me tell you why you're lucky. That's the best thing you could get.
It's a case number?
Yeah, that's all I'm going to tell you about it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I also they still have my records sealed from the October stuff. And
of course they do. They're starting to steal everything we do.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Do you understand why I say you're lucky to have that court order?
Not exactly.
Okay. The IRS go ahead.
Other than the fact that I have the opportunity to appeal this case.
Well, we'll worry about that when that time comes. But what happens when they write you a letter, no matter what it is, no matter what they say to you, your argument's going to be, "Oh, I've appealed this. You can't interfere with my right to court. Here's my docket number, and you're okay. Sign it, and you're."
I understand that. Yep, I do. I understand that part of it. Yes. So I've got. They can't really do anything at this point, regardless, until the appeal is. And then I have after that, if something happens to that, I have an opportunity to appeal that as well. But I just noticed here. So I got all my stuff done as far as Pacer and the Third Circuit in Pennsylvania, and I just received an EC filer entry of appearance from the attorneys on behalf of the commissioner today. I haven't had a chance to look at the documents yet, but yes, I did receive that. And I also noticed that in the original documentation, which they mailed to me, which took like 9 days to get here. They said if I want to make a motion to keep the records sealed, that you can do that. Either party can do that, but I see no reason to keep the records sealed because I want that public information, basically. So, I'm just moving through this at this point to see where it goes pretty much week by week here. And I'm working on I'm going to start working on my brief, which is going to be fairly brief.
Yeah, that's why they call it a brief.
Yeah, right. So not knowing exactly what to expect from here, when I look at this documentation I got today at the Pacer stuff, I'll have a better understanding possibly of what it is.
Not a problem. Thank you for sharing, and good deal.
Now you guys are still having these every 2 weeks, right?
Well, first, second, Tuesday. Not necessarily every 2 weeks, because sometimes there's 5 Tuesdays in a month. So,
Well, as long as I'm in the email, because I notice in the past sometimes I drop off, so I just give either you or Ed a little jingle, and you guys get me right back in place.
There you go. We appreciate it.
Yeah, because I do appreciate the sitting in on the Tuesday evening calls. But anyway, I yield, and I'll let you go. I hope you guys are doing well.
Well, we are. Thank you. Okay. The court, we're going to the tax court still. We're still telling them we did not receive a statutory notice of deficiency or statutory notice of determination. The court comes back a lot less often giving us what we want because we're absolutely crushing them. Now, we got them in such a bad shape that the IRS will go ahead and tell them that they want it dismissed because their mother wears army boots or something. I mean, something that's off the hinge. It's not even in the ballpark. I mean, they don't know what to do. They're saying, well, that's not what it says. What it says is, then they're telling us what it says. And then when you look at it, you can't find it. And, of course, everybody then starts throwing up their hands and worrying about it. They're saying this and they're saying that. Well, it doesn't really matter. See? If you got caught, think about this. You just went into a jewelry store and stole jewelry. You put it in your purse or your pocket. You walk out the door and they say, you just robbed them. Oh, no, I didn't. The first thing you're going to say is you're going to lie to them. They're going to say, you just stole $20,000 worth of diamonds. No, I didn't. I took $50,000. No, you're not. You're going to say, I had these when I went in. Oh, I bought these from somewhere else. Where's the receipt? I got it at home. You're going to lie until they finally put you in the corner. What we're doing is we're blocking that. So it doesn't really matter what they say. We don't care what they say. See, the other thing that we're having a problem with is, for an example, they'll say something to you. They'll make a comment on paper, not normally in court because we're able to stop it in court. And not only that, nobody's going to court. You have your Skype, so it's a little bit easier to do it there. But in the paper, they'll say, you're the dumbest individual. Or something like they'll say, you stole diamonds from the jewelry store. We go and they say, no, I didn't. I bought these. I bought these from their competitor. I bought them last week. Here's the receipt. Here's where I went in. Here's the videotape of me going in there. Here's the video of me buying them. Here's my girlfriend that I gave them to. We don't have to do that. All we have to do is say, what proof do you have that I stole them from that jewelry store? Or I stole them from them? And then you shut your mouth. The reason for it is we're still running off at the head, telling them too much information. And what it ends up doing is it gets us in trouble. They're saying, well, you have to file the 1040 form. You didn't file your 1040 form. You didn't this or you didn't that. My argument is, what proof do you have I didn't? Instead of saying, yes, I did. Well, I don't have to because. So my answer always is, what proof do you have that I didn't? They're going to say, well, we didn't get it. Well, you didn't ask me that. Now I've got a firm foundation that I can argue. Well, you mean to tell me you lost it? I cannot believe you lost my tax return. Never say 1040. They're saying I didn't file a 1040. I'm going to say I filed a return or a statement. And you mean you lost it? See, now I've got something I can argue. The more people we add to the group, the more people, of course, are being asked questions. The more people that are being asked questions, the better it is for us because we're able to affect and help more people. But we have to understand something. This is not about you. I'm going to say that again. This is not about you. In other words, if somebody would come online, now let me ask them a question somebody will come online so I can ask you a question. It's not to embarrass you, it's just to ask you a question.
Okay, Kerry.
In the meantime, okay, are you a taxpayer?
Yes.
Okay, then shouldn't you file a form?
Absolutely.
See how simple that is? That's the answer. Are you a taxpayer? Well, of course I'm a taxpayer. What did you say? See? Because what we're doing is we're saying, I'm not a taxpayer. Really? Huh. My question is, well, if you're not a taxpayer, when you get gas, how do you get the 58 cents a gallon off of the pump? Because I want to do that. When you go buy beer, how do you get the alcohol tax off of the beer, the wine that you're buying? How do you get that off? Well, no, I pay that tax. Oh, so you are a taxpayer. See, I ask people all the time, what do you drive? I don't drive. I travel. You just told me what you did. Now I got you. I'm going to beat your brains out, put you in the corner, and you'll never get out because you're telling them what you are. The question is, am I a driver? I don't know. What is a driver? Let them tell me what it is. Well, that's where you get in the car and drive it. No, I'm not a driver. What are you? I'm a pick-upper. See? What do you mean? I drive a pickup. I don't drive a car. Well, that's the same thing. Oh, then I'm a driver. They had to ask me 4 or 5 times. So my question is, and this is what I did to them years ago. I don't have a carburetor on my truck. I have a truck-burator on my truck. I don't have a carburetor on my tractor. I have a tractor-burator on my tractor. See? Now, well, what's a tractor-burator? I don't know. I just know it ain't a car. See, I put them in a position that they're going to have to ask me the same question 4, 5, 6 times to get the answer they're looking for. By that time, it's neutered. The question is neutered. It's no good to them anymore. Does that make sense? See? Does anybody on the call tonight have a dog?
Yep.
You have a dog?
I do.
Oh. Boy.
Can you define that?
No, it's too late now. This is Tori, right?
Yep.
So why do you date a man that's so ugly he's a dog? Why do you date somebody who's a dog? What did you do? What did you do? Jack his leg up and pee on stuff in the house? See, you didn't ask me what it was. So once I get your, and that's what they're doing to us right there. See, they wait till we answer it. Then they change the answer on us. Does that make any sense? Because if it makes sense, you're nuts. But that's what they're doing to us. So, in case you have to meet with the IRS, if you have a meeting with them, we have a package that I put together that works extremely well. I had 2 more this week use it. It's 20 for 20. Now, if you're getting indicted, it'll stop it. Well, it has so far. If you're going to a Skype meeting and they want to know why you didn't file, it'll help you there. Anytime you go up against the Internal Revenue Service against anything, it's going to help you. And the reason it's going to help you because it's going to define everything that they're talking about. Does that make any sense for you? Okay. Does anybody have a question? Because I'm going to start asking you guys to look stuff up. So if you're in front of a computer, come on and tell me you're in front of a computer so we can look things up. Because we're having a lot of... What?
Terry, how do you get that packet?
You get naked, run around your house 3 times. Okay, you're laughing because you don't think I'm serious, right?
Can't help it.
I can't help it either. You ask Ed for it, and I'll put it together and get it to you. Now, are you in front of a computer?
I don't have a computer or internet, but I do have a question on the tax.
Ask the question. Absolutely.
You helped me a while back on 16, 17, and 18, and I filed that. Okay. And it came back, and they threw it out for no jurisdiction.
Well, wait a minute. Hold on a minute. Is that good news or bad news?
Oh, that's good news. The only bad thing is the IRS turned around and claimed that it was 2009 they were after, and so that's when they started taking money out of my 2019 employment check. Okay. And yet they said it was for 16, 17, and 18. Yep. So I had you help me file that, and that was thrown out. And then I got a hold of you again. You said go ahead and start from 2000 all the way to 2020. 2020.
I told you that. 2020. Yeah. Why did I tell you that? So if you had done that the first time, you would have got that. But what you need to do is they could go back 10 years. Okay? So 2019, is 11 years. So they're too far back. Now, if they've already got you on the hook, they're going to do it. So, do you have what we did before?
Do I have a what?
Do you have the paperwork we used before? Remember I helped you with 16, 17, and 18?
Right. And I didn't know they were taking it for the 2009 until they got knocked out at 16, 17, and 18.
Do you still have the paperwork we used for 16, 17, and 18?
Yep, I turn around and I sent a tax to the tax court and I filed it all the way to 20, I believe 20, no, I only went to 2019, I guess.
No. That'll be fine. That's fine. Now, were you the one that asked me about the package?
Yeah.
Well, that will help you with this because you're going to understand. You'll understand what they're doing, where they're coming from, and how they're doing it. See, the problem that we have, if you go to a movie and you watch the movie, and then you go to the movie again, what really bothers me is the guy stood in front and got shot the first time. When I went back and seen it, wouldn't you think he would understand he shouldn't step there? Wouldn't that make more sense to you? Well, guess what? That's the script. Once you get this, you're going to see the script. The next time they write you a letter, you're going to be able to take from that and put it in there. You're going to see the script. Now, what I have is I have put in with this thing, it's called a parallel table of authorities. Now, the parallel table of authorities, what it does is you look up the IRS, what they've done, how deceitful they are. Title 26 is about 8.5 inches thick. It's 14,000 pages. But inside of the Title 26 is Title 26 and Title 27. But they don't tell you that. They also have just Title 27 by itself. So you got to understand something. Inside of Title 26, the reason it's so thick is you have Title 26 and Title 27. There's no authority. I forgot the word there's no authority in Title 26 to do anything. So anytime they come after you, they're coming after you under Title 27. Under the parallel table of authorities, if you go to 7203. Now, let me back up or digress for just a moment. In Title 26, I outlined it. I'll put that in there for you too so you can see the outline. In Title 26, Section 0000 through 6999, that's Title 26. You'll never get indicted. You'll never be found guilty of anything because there's no authority in Title 26. So they're not going to say, okay, we're going to take you to jail under 6205. That's not going to happen. What they're going to say is they're going to say, we're going to take you to jail we're going to indict you under 7203, willful failure to file a tax return. Now, 7,000 and above is Title 27. So 7203, if somebody would tell me, will you tell me what that is?
Willful failure to file a return.
That is correct. But you're incorrect. You are correct. But 7203 is willful failure to file a return. That is correct. What are they talking about? Let me back up and say it again because evidently you missed it. But 0000, in other words, Title 26, 0000 to Title 26, 6999. That's Title 26. Title 26 $7,000 through the end. Title 26, $9,000, whatever it goes to. That's all Title 27. So Title 26, $7,000 and above is Title 27. Now that's very deceitful. Before I finish what I'm telling you, well, I'll finish that first. So 7203 is willful failure to file a tax return. What are they telling you?
Telling you it's alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. You're not filing.
Exactly. There you go. You're not filing a tax return, an income tax return for alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. But you can't borrow one statute and implement it to the other. So there's no implementing regulations in Title 26. There's not. And the reason for it is the Constitution says you can't, you have to do excise taxes. Well, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms is excise taxes. So they have absolute power on Title 27. That's 7,000 and above. So under the parallel table of authorities, it says 7203. Then it's got 4 columns. Anyways, on the last column it says Title 27, Part 70. What does that mean? That means 7203 comes out of Title 27. So if you're being charged, or the IRS is saying you didn't file a tax return, the first question you should ask them is, oh, well, what section of the code are you referring to? They're going to say, well, you willful failure to file 7203. Now we got them. Once they tell you 7203, under the parallel table of authorities, that's the Internal Revenue Service's own book. It says 27 Part 70. Okay? What's Part 70? Does anybody know?
So my question would be, what section of the code are they?
Okay, it's 27 Part 70. So it's right. Title 27, Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, but it's in Part 70.
Right.
Okay, let me explain it to you this way. It doesn't matter. Do you know why it doesn't matter? Because you're not under Title 27. It doesn't matter. Well, Part 70, it's because you got gray hair. You got big feet. You got 4 ears. None of that matters. Part 70 has nothing to do with me. Why? Because I'm not in Title 27. If I was in Title 27, it might be alcoholic spirits, might be wine. It could be beer. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Part 70 has nothing to play with anything not under Title 27. So I'm going to ask a quiz question. If you'll come online and talk to, and answer my question, I'll give you free of charge implementing the the parallel tables of authority electronically. If you'll come online and answer my question, come to the thing and tell me that you'll answer it, and I'll make sure Ed gets it. Does anybody else have a question for me?
I have a question.
All right, ask it.
Yeah, I've got a question regarding the Form 1020 and property tax.
Okay.
I've used it twice for property tax as a plaintiff going in there, and both times I failed in court. And one of the questions I had, you said that you had some success with it. Did you go in as a defendant or no?
As a plaintiff. As the plaintiff. It never failed me. But let me explain to you why the 1020. That's the form that I made. Do you understand that? I'm the creator of it. Okay?
Yes, I understand.
Let me explain to you where your problem comes. Everybody has the same problem. They're not bothering me today, so I'm going to wait one more day. Let me ask you, how often do It's okay. How often do property taxes come?
Well, they try to assess them once a year.
No, sir. That's not true. It's absolutely every year. So they're coming every year. So why do you wait until you get your bill and then try to do it? They've already got 3 months on you. So what I'm trying to do, what I do, here's how I do it. The first time I get it in the mail, I get a hold on. It's a statement. Now, go to Black's Law Dictionary and look up the word statement. See, they're telling you stuff. I do everything by definitions. A statement is something, and it says, do not pay this statement. Good, I got 30 more days. But in 30 days, the statement turns into something. It tells you in Black's Law Dictionary. So what I do, I already know it's coming. It comes every year. Every single year it comes, the statement comes first. So I hit them with the 1020 in about October. Why? I already know it's coming. So I take last year's. It doesn't change that much. And if it does, I don't care. The boxes don't change. So on the 1020, I would say in the box labeled sidewalk, the figures that are on there for the year 2019 were, in 2020, what are they? In other words, I'm already ahead of it. Then when they don't answer me, I can then do my default, and I can file the lawsuit before I even get my statement. Or the day, my statement shows up Monday, Tuesday, I'm in court. I've already got all my work done. When I file it Tuesday, they're not going to do it. They're already in default. Well, wait a minute. How come you did that? Well, because last year they didn't answer me. The year before they didn't answer me. So they didn't answer me this year, buddy. Boom. They're there. Now I've got the upper hand. Doesn't that make sense?
Yeah, I actually did that though. I had the things default filed until then, but when I opened up the court case, the judge drug his feet so far it went to the next year.
Right. So you have to learn to stop that. Then appeal it. Then appeal it. See, go to a higher court. Go to the state court. See, in other words, it's in the county. Go to the state court. If you have to, see, do a federal court, because I'm going to go to a federal court because the state is dragging their feet. What's happening is in other words, see what works for you. I never let it down. I want to ask you a question. I went to Home Depot and I bought my men that worked for me, I bought each one of them a hammer. One of the guys put it on the ladder, dropped it, and the other guy that was working under him, it hit him right in the bridge of the nose. Do you think it hurt the guy that it hit in the bridge of the nose? It was a 10-foot ladder.
Yeah, I suspect it did.
Well, it did. I bought 3 Nerf hammers, and he had a Nerf hammer on top of the ladder, and it fell on right on his nose, and he laughed. He just kept on working. They thought it was funny. They couldn't use them for anything, but they looked just like hammers. See, that's what I do right there. See, that's what they're doing to us. They're giving us something, and doesn't that make sense?
Yeah, I got the question I have is if you've gone into court, how did you what was your pleading like? What were you actually pleading?
I'm pleading that I asked a question, and according to the law, they're in default. The county has admitted violating my rights on the ground. They won't tell me what to do. I'm not an attorney. See, I do a notice first, way early. My notice is I'm not an attorney. I can't make a legal determination.
Right.
Okay, see, so I have it all done before. When I get that statement, I'm there. Does that make sense? So when you went there, see, you're there and you're arguing. What was your argument? Tell me what your argument was. Mine was. Now, okay. Before you tell me that, what state do you live in?
This was for Arizona.
Okay, I live in Texas. In Texas, we have the Homestead Act. I'm sure you have one similar. What the Homestead Act does is you're asking the government for a benefit, which you're asking them to lower your taxes.
Right.
In Texas, if you live at a $150,000 house, they'll lower it $5,000. They're going to only charge you $145,000. Okay?
Right.
But in order for them to charge you $145,000, they have to charge you something. They can't give you $5,000 if you have no tax. So that's their jurisdiction. Their jurisdiction is, because if you read the Homestead Act in Texas, it says you are giving the jurisdiction to your property to the county of, whatever it may be, or the state of, whatever. So because of that, what we're doing here is we're canceling the Homestead Act. Then without the Homestead Act, see, now we have something we can do. And what we do is we send it to the tax collector assessor. Then we give him no time. We hit him again, and we sue the tax collector. We don't sue the county. We sue the tax collector on the grounds he is doing something and he doesn't know what he's doing. Because I'm going to ask you a question, okay? I'm a contractor. All right, I'm putting a roof on your house. What kind of tar paper do you want me to put on it?
Probably the heaviest you have.
Okay,
in Arizona.
The heaviest I have is 1 ounce. So you're happy with that? No problem. No problem. They make a 10 ounce, but I'm going to put a 1 ounce because you said what I have. No problem. So in 2 years it blows off and leaks, and the insurance guy says, "Well, wait a minute, that's only 1 ounce paper. You can't use that up there. That's wrong."
You got me.
What are you
got me.
See, that's what I do right there. I don't care what they want or how they do it. I make sure that the tax assessor collector, I'm asking you, okay, then I'm going to ask you a question. I do floors, all right? I'm a flooring contractor. What kind of carpet do you want me to put in your house? Okay, by your silence, you want me to spray AstroTurf.
No, I didn't ask for carpet. I want travertine.
Not a problem. I'll put travertine in it. So I come over there and I put thin set and I sling it around and I use all different sizes, busted, broken, up and down, and I throw it on the floor. When I leave,
18 by 18.
You didn't say that. That's what I do to them right there. See? Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
So when you cancel the Homestead Act, do you do that separately from the 1020 that you submit? You try to cancel that first?
Okay, you got to understand something. The Homestead Act you put in place. Now, let's back up a minute. I'm a corporation. I'm not. But let's say I do, Flooring Incorporated. Tell me what is the reason for a corporation?
Limit liability.
I didn't say LLC. I said I'm an S corp. What's the reason for an S corp?
Tax, favorable tax.
There you go. So what's the reason for an LLC? Taxes. So what do you think the Homestead Act is for? Taxes. Every single thing they do, they dangle the word taxes in front of you. I want some of that, but in order for me to give you less taxes, and I can't tax you, I have to tax you at a higher rate so I can give you the discount. Doesn't that make perfect? I'm just telling. Wait a minute. I'm telling you what it says. What you need to do is go to the Arizona taxing authority and ask for a Homestead Act, or whatever you call it. Get a Homestead Act and read it. Do word search, taxes, and watch how many times it pops up. Okay? Discounts. Now, then you're going to see it. Now, my big beef is the church. Do you know what 501c3 is?
Yes, I do.
All right, you know what it is. What is it?
It's a charitable organization for churches.
No, heavens, no. I live on 501c Street in Austin, Texas.
You don't live in Austin.
Well, but you see, no, you are correct. It's an organization. So what you have to do is you have to go to Black's Law Dictionary and look up organization. Now you know what it is. Same thing with this. Let's look up the Homestead Act. We have to have a plan. See what I'm saying? My mother used to say I was like a bull in a china cabinet, or a china closet, or a china whatever store. Well, what does that mean? I go in there and when I leave, everything's tore up. I don't do that anymore. I do everything. I strike the way I strike the same way all the time. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're using the form that I made. The reason I made it because it made sense to me. Now, what does the word form mean? Do you know? You're using something you may not even know what it means.
No, it's something that's used in a judicial proceeding. It's a form or what is it?
No.
It's a skeleton or a model to be used. Yeah.
Wait a minute. It's a model or a skeleton of an instrument to be used. So a form is an instrument. I understand that. So when I do my lawsuit or when I write my notice, guess what I do? I use the definition of instrument in my definition. I don't say instrument. I would say an instrument is a contract. So what they're doing is they're using the instrument of the Homestead Act. It's an instrument. Read the definition of instrument, then you'll see where it's at. So that's how I write my lawsuit. In this lawsuit, then I write the word. I define instrument, but I don't let them know what I'm doing, and then I file it. If they tell me no, I appeal it. See, then if I have to, the next year I'll go to federal court because I went to state court and the state court threw me out. They didn't let me do it, so I'm going to federal court because they're breaking federal law. Doesn't that make perfect sense?
So you're now going to federal court for this?
Absolutely.
And what's the cause of action?
Okay, I'm being asked to break the law. Now, here's my question. In Texas, you can have marijuana for whatever reasons. I don't know. I don't know I don't care. I don't really know what it is. Let's say it's 2 pounds. I can have 2 pounds of marijuana in Texas. It's not illegal. But if I get pulled over by the feds, they're going to put me in prison because that's a federal law. Federal law says you can't have marijuana no matter what. So in Texas, they're breaking federal law because they're making me pay my taxes with an illegal federal substance. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So do you see where I'm going?
Yeah.
So what I would do is I would tell them, if you don't answer the question, because I'm not an attorney, we'll go to federal. I'll take you to federal court on the grounds. I'm assuming you're asking me to pay it with federal
reserve notes,
an illegal federal substance. See, there's a lot of laws that's not illegal in the state, but they're illegal in federal. There's also a lot of laws that are illegal in the state that they're not in the federal. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what you have to do is sit down and work it out. That's the way I did it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. That helps quite a bit. I had one question regarding the what you said earlier. It sounded like you do this each year. You get a statement. Every year you get a statement. They send out a statement every year. But I thought when you go to court, you get the judge to put a stay on it because they won't tell you what the species or the thing is that's required to settle the or to tender a payment.
When you file your lawsuit, see, when you're doing property tax, it's going to take about 5 years, and then they're going to take you to court. That's not a good example, property tax, because it takes 5 or 6 years, and then they take your land. But for example, you get a ticket, okay, and I use the 1020 on the ticket, okay. So I get a ticket. The judge won't tell me how to pay it. I appeal it. Now they're going to issue a warrant. I have a document in my truck that says this is an appeal. The appellate court has it. This is what it's covering, so now I have it. Let me use the example that we just did. I have a friend of mine that I'm helping in a small town. In the small towns, they do what they call ordinances, and they're what they call home rule cities. So one city, you can run the streetlights at 4 in the afternoon, and the other city you can't. So each city writes their own ordinances for their own square footage. Well, you can't work. You can't. They won't let you pull a table outside and sell Kool-Aid or lemonade in your front yard unless you have a permit. So where the problem came is the permit that says you can't have signage. Well, we had a great big sign, but in this signage, all these neighbors were putting up signage, just vote for whoever. So we went down to the city. We pulled that address to see the permit for that sign. They don't have them. So when we brought that up to the judge said, well, we have a waiver for political signs. I said, well, what's the statute on that waiver so we can see it? I want to make sure that the sign meets it. They need it. I said they need it. So what we did is we made a sign that was probably 30 feet long that said, vote for Trump 2020. Get your computer fixed here. We had an arrow pointing down to his table he had sitting in his front seat. So now they're saying, well, that's not a political sign. Why not? The definition of political sign in your own ordinance says you have to have a candidate. There's a candidate. Yeah, but you added this. It doesn't say you can't. You see? In other words, now I'm using what they said against them. And it was funny. So when we went to court, we got to court, and so the guy's still working in his front yard with a big sign saying, fix your computer here, or whatever. So here's where the problem comes. We're in there, and I bring up all the stuff that's just so obscure. So we were turning their head off, and the prosecuting attorney said, Your Honor, can we get a continuance? He said, for when? Well, it was 11 months. 11 months, 5 days. So they asked for a continuance of 11 months. So we got his court order that said he's under a continuance. We printed out a whole bunch of them. He says, sir, when the police come over there to write him a ticket, he hands them one of these court orders and says, if you give me that ticket, you're violating the court order and you're trying to manipulate the court. He takes the ticket, puts it back in the thing, puts it in his pocket, and drives off. They don't know what to do. Okay, oh, wait, now that's how we're going to do this. So what I try to do is things like that. So I do that with the property tax. If here's my saying, I'm ready, willing, and able to pay as long as I know how to pay. Not being an attorney, if I don't pay, you're going to take me to court and take my house. Therefore, something in the property tax statement is legal. I don't know what it is. I'm not capable of doing it. If you don't tell me, then you admit you wrote it incorrectly. Then I file it. Now I got my case done. My case is already done. See, it's not about anything. It's about me not being able to represent myself. See, I'm not able to what do you call it? I can't make a legal determination. See? So, just one more quick story. We went to court. A guy gets a ticket. we get to court, and first thing we say is, how do you plead? Well, we plead innocent until proven guilty. Well, you can't have that plea. Oh, why not? Well, we don't use that here. Oh, well, then I'm confused. The judge says, well, you can do guilty, not guilty, novo contendere. Okay, well, you got a problem, sir, because I'm not any of those. I'm not those. He says, well, that's all we got. So the guy says, okay, then I'm going to plea. Now, he's a big old fella. He's probably 6'3", little 2 pounds over. So he's not real aggressive, but he says, okay, I'm going to plea a 31-year-old Asian man. The judge says, you can't do that. Why? Because you're not. That's right. But I'm not none of those either. So we already started off. They don't know what to do now. So the judge says, are you refusing to plead? No. I will plead. I'm going to plead right now. I'm going to plead innocent until proven guilty. We don't have that plea. Well, you're making me plead something I don't have. So the judge, takes it all in stride. Well, I hear this all the time. I'm going to plead for you. So we said, well, we're going to object. What are you going to object to? Well, because I'm not any of those. The judge says, well, I'm going to put in a plea for you for not guilty. Well, sir, I'm not guilty. So put in there that I'm a 48-year-old Asian man not guilty. Because now I got 2 nothings. He said, no, you don't understand. Not guilty and innocence the same thing. Oh, well, then go ahead. Well, we'll do that. So the judge says he's not guilty. So we packed up all of our stuff. He says, where are you going? Innocent men don't have to be in court. You just said I was innocent. That's what you said. If you want to, get the recording. We started heading for the back. He stood there, didn't know what to say. I said, let's just slow down here. The next guy comes up to the judge's thing. How do you plead? He said, like that guy did. The next guy, how do you like that guy did? The next 5 people plead just like we did. So it's not what you're doing. Well, you have to understand what they're doing. See, and we have to build something that they can't get around. We have a ticket that the guy wasn't that fortunate, so we got the police officer on the stand, and of course you can't ask him any legal questions. He's not an attorney. Oh, that's more than fair. So we asked the policeman, is this a fair statement on your job? You're in law enforcement. He looks over at the attorney. The attorney says, you can answer that. He said, yes, I am. So then I said, okay, wow, I want to thank you for keeping my family safe. I want to thank you because I'm a coward. I'd probably wet myself if I had to chase a bad guy. So I want that on the record that I want to thank you for your job you do. Since you're in law enforcement, would you tell me what law you enforce? And so he doesn't know what to say. He looks over there, and the attorney starts saying, well, I object. Why? He said he was in law enforcement, so he's in something. He don't know what he does? So in other words, he's enforcing something, and he don't know what it is. So she said something, and I said, okay, then let me just understand this. You're in law enforcement. I can only assume then you enforce the supreme, the big boy, the bad one, the one at the top of the heap. That would be the Constitution, because on page so-and-so it says right here, supreme law of the land. So would you agree to that? He looks over there and she says, I object. Well, all right. Then we're going to go ahead and make a motion to dismiss this case. And he did it right there on the spot. See, in other words, what we have to do is you have to figure out what they're doing. It may take you a little bit of time to figure that out. But I would find out what the Homestead Act is holding you to. That's like being in a corporation. There's something in the corporation that's going to keep you in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Find out what it is. Once you find out what it is, you may have to cancel it. Well, your taxes are going to go up. Well, maybe. Then look in the Constitution and see whether they can. In Texas, the Constitution says you can't tax. Okay, step back a minute. You never hear of land taxes. That's why they call it property. Look in Black's Law Dictionary the word property, and then look up eminent domain. They both define property as something you cannot own. You can only rent it. So the rental is whatever. So if we go to war and you're of age, you have to enlist in the selective service. Why can Congress draft your children? Because they're property. The Selective Service, if you read the Selective Service Act, it says your offspring becomes our property. So look up the word property. You can't own property. You can only lease it. So all this is all part of it. So I started putting this stuff together. Now they don't want me to go anywhere. See, they don't want me no legal. I have a courtroom here that I have a standing order. If I show up, I get arrested. I can't even get in it. So I mean, I can't get in. When I get in it, they usher me out because I create a stink. I create such a stink when I'm there.
You're toxic waste.
Have to do? Well, basically, I'm toxic waste. But you need to look at these things and see that you're going to find a theme that runs between it. Now, let's get back to the 501c3. That's a tax-exempt organization. Well, so then a 501c3, that's a church. Well, a church is an organization. The definition of organization in Black's Law Dictionary is an organization is part of the government. Now, I want you to think about this. I have freedom of religion. I trust my pastor. I pay my pastor. I listen to my pastor. I want my pastor to get up there and say, don't vote for Judge so-and-so. He's a skunk. Don't vote for Biden. He's a skunk. Vote for Biden. He's a good guy. I want my pastor to get up there and do that. He can't. Well, why not? Separation of church and state. Well, wait a minute. The First Amendment gives me the right to have my pastor tell me who to vote for because I'm too stupid to know. See? Because why can't your pastor tell you who to vote for? Tell me that one. Why is that?
The 501c3s are kind of an enigma because churches were exempt from taxation anyway. So why did your church sign up for a 501c3? They thought they were getting a tax advantage when they were getting not only a tax advantage but a restriction on freedom of speech.
Well, see. So in other words, it's the same thing with the homestead exemption. They're giving you something, and boy, it smells and tastes good. And the Bible says he ate it and it tasted good, but it soured in his stomach. That's what this is. The homestead exemption tastes good in the mouth, but it's sour in the stomach. So it's evil.
Right.
So find out where the tie-ins are. Then when you're able to use that, it'll come out for you. Does that help at all?
Yeah. When you're in court, can't you think if you're in federal court that you can get a permanent stay until they identify what the thing is that's required to tender payment of debt?
I can only tell you this. We have one case that this is its 10th year, and we asked to have it in suspended animation until they tell us, and it's off the rails. It hasn't. Okay. She hasn't gotten a tax bill in 10 years. So let me answer it this way: why not? See, the Bible says you have not because you ask not. So let's ask for it. Well, get in there and look at it. Get in there and look at it. There's something you may be asking them, and your homestead exemption may say even we can ask for cocaine to sell it. We can arrest him if he brings it in. You don't know what it says until you read it. All you know is you signed up for it. See?
Yep.
So if you're, an LLC is a limited liability corporation. See, or company. But a company and a corporation, they're so close together. There's a benefit for both. See, The reason you pay taxes, there's a benefit. That's fine. There's a benefit, see. The benefit may not be a benefit to me, but it's still a benefit under the definition. This is why you do it. So, does anybody else have a question for me?
Thanks, Gary.
And thank you for that. No, my pleasure. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions that they can ask so we can get back to the understanding of what jurisdiction does for us? Now, jurisdiction isn't everything. All right? I just want that up clear. Jurisdiction isn't everything. It's the only thing.
I have a question.
Good. Ask it.
Okay, I have two questions. One is that if one is an employee, do they have to file taxes? Or if they are filing taxes?
Okay. Let me explain to you what you said. You being an employee, that has nothing to do with it. That's about you. See? That's about you. Let's use the law. What does the law say? Here's my question. You're a federal employee. And I'll answer your question, I promise you. If you're a federal employee, I've heard this all my life, you have to file a tax return. Will anybody get online and answer that for me? If you're a federal employee, do you have to file taxes?
Well, that is where the confusion is. So,
say that one more time.
I said that is where my confusion is. If one is working for a non-profit organization, and that non-profit organization is registered with the government with an EIN number, and then the corporation employs me, and I completed a W-4, does that
That's okay. No, that does not necessarily. But let me make a suggestion. Do you know what a DBA is?
Yeah.
Why don't you get a DBA?
I have one.
Okay, then use your DBA. Get paid in the DBA. Then you can cash your check. If you understand what's going on, okay, I'm going to make this statement. Federal employees, since nobody will get on, if you'll get online, let me ask you that. I'll supply you with the parallel table of authorities also. If you'll get on and answer it, I'll do that. I'll supply you with a parallel table of authorities.
Yeah, federal employees have to file, I believe.
Okay, now that you said that, would you look something up so I can prove you wrong?
Sure.
Okay, look up, if you will, Title 26, 60, 13, and read the heading on it. Now, the guy that was talking to me, it's not about you. You can't do anything to make you have to file taxes, okay? Mm-hmm. The problem is it's the way you're saying it. I don't want to pay taxes. Nobody wants to pay them. See? The question is, are you legally required to file them? Now, that's a different story. I can help you with that, but because you're work for a whatever, I can't tell you that. Now, would you read 60:13? Just the heading.
Okay, let me
just
get
the
to
heading.
60:13. I'm still looking here. 60:12.
Okay. Now, the guy that asked me about that, see, it hasn't got anything to do with you, okay? What you're doing is, what you have to do is see where you can, how much comfort does your company have with you changing your status? In other words, get a DBA. Have the DBA made. Go get the DBA and make it your name. Then get an EIN number and give it to them. If they're happy with that, then tell them to just give you the whole check. This is my DBA. I'm working for a DBA. Let them do that. They can still write it off. They save 7.5% on the Social Security. So you're actually doing them a favor. See? So what I'm saying is try to get a 1099. Try to do a W-8-BEN. In other words, that way at the end of the year, it's easier Okay, if I owe you money, who's got the problem?
You.
I do.
That's right, not me. If I owe you money, I don't have a problem. You have a problem because I'm not going to take your calls. I'm going to hide from you. I'm not going to listen to you. If you owe me money, I got the problem. So the IRS says, I got your money. You want the $10,000 that I owe you. If you want it, you're going to stand on one foot, put your left finger in your right ear, and you're going to hop around for 20 minutes. And you got to do it. Why? Well, then I ain't giving you your money back. If you don't file that form that I tell you, you don't get it. If you get all your money up front, when the IRS says something to you, well, here's what you're going to do. You're going to pull your pants down and you're going to run around your house. You're going to sit there and you're going to ride a motorcycle on the back wheel for 2 miles. In other words, if I get all my money and they want me to file something, now I got them where I want them. They're going to show me where I have to do such and such or so and so. Does that make sense? So we have to reverse it. Get all of your money. Once you get all of your money, when the IRS writes you a letter, you can take a picture of your middle finger, put it in an envelope, mail it back. Say, here, buddy, take this up and smoke it because I got all my money. Do you want me to file something? Yes. What? Why? What's the cost? Where does it come from? Who's told you to do that? Why did you see? I got a whole book of stuff for that. Now I got them right where I want them. Okay, the guy that was looking up 6212, read just the heading on it for me.
Oh, 62. I was at 6013.
I'm sorry, that's what it is.
Okay.
No, it is 60. No, I lied to you. Let me do this again. 60. It's 6012. I apologize. I was doing it from memory. It's 6012. Okay.
6012.
Well, that makes more sense.
6012. What is it?
Okay, it's right here. Persons required to make returns of income.
Now, wouldn't you like to know wouldn't you like to know if you're that person? See, yes. They're telling you right there. If you know that, you can then sit down with your company. Hey, here, would you highlight I highlighted in there in yellow everywhere that I'm supposed to fill out a tax return. Here it is. If you find any more, would you highlight them for us? See, I wasn't there. When I got indicted, that was one of the things I had. I had that memorized, circled. I had it highlighted. I had it underlined. I had it here. I had everything. I had that. I had 6012 memorized because I know what it says. I thought it was important. That's just my opinion. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if you fall within that batch, you have to file a return of income. You don't have a choice. Now, if you look up one more thing, look up Title 31, Section 321, D as in dog, number 2. While he's doing that, I'm going to show you what you have to pay taxes on if you fall within 6012. See, what they're doing is they're saying you have to pay. Well, I agree, you have to pay. What do you mean you have to pay? Pay what? Everybody has to pay. Yeah, everybody has to pay. Pay what? See, and I'm just a knucklehead that way. I never stop asking questions. So does anybody else have a question?
So it's 31D2, that's it?
No, Title 321. Title 31, 321, little d, it's in parentheses, the number 2. And only read the first 3 or 4 words and then stop 21. so we can, yeah.
Okay. General authority of, let me look here.
Go ahead.
It's Title 31, 321, D2?
Yeah.
Okay. This is showing general authority of the Secretary.
Hey, That's something. That's right.
Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, go ahead and do D2.
I've got D2.
Okay, would you read it?
Yeah, it's for purposes of the federal income, comma.
Stop. Hold on. Wait a minute. Read that part again.
Yeah, this is item 2, for purposes of the federal income.
Now, do you think this is going to be important? This is for the purposes of federal income. Oh, wait a minute. I don't know. Well, did you know that? We have to find out. Well, you got to file an income tax return. Oh, well, let's find out what the Treasury. Let's find out what the IRS, and let's find out what the Federal Reserve calls income. To me, I wanted to know. Don't read it no more. We're done. That way everybody can look it up. But if you read Ed's email, he's got it there. Let's see what federal income is. Go ahead and start over and read it to the end, and I won't say another word. Go ahead.
Item 2, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, for purposes of the federal income, comma, estate, comma, and gift taxes, comma, property accepted under paragraph 1 shall be considered as a gift or bequest to or for the use of the United States.
So, my question is, there we go. Tell me what federal income is.
The gift or bequest.
Well, when you go to work as a plumber and you put in a new pipe in the front of a house, do they give you a gift? See, the other day I went and put put carpet in a lady's house, and she made me a cake. She gave me a double-decker cake. I told her thank you, and I left. I couldn't accept anything else. So on my tax return this year, I got 19 cakes, 72 cupcakes, 4 chocolate bars, 2 gallons of ice cream, and grape soda. That's what it says. See, I'm an asshole, okay? I do what it says. I don't care what it says anywhere else. That's what it says. So for the purposes of federal income, see? And there, guess what it says again? Let's read that again, and I'm going to show you a word that's in there that we should look up in Black's Law Dictionary, so then we'll understand it. Go ahead and read that again. I'm going to stop you. Go ahead, if you will, please.
All right. For purposes of the federal income, estate, and gift taxes, comma, property accepted under paragraph 1.
Hold on. Remember I told you property? Well, yep. Now, if we understand what property is, then you'll know if you're making anything you have to pay taxes on. Property is defined in Black's Law Dictionary in 2 places. 1, in Black's Law Dictionary under property, and 2, under eminent domain. So, if you will, look up eminent domain definition, Black's Law, and we'll read it, and I'll show you. See, to me, this makes sense. So I'm not going to argue. Did you file a tax return? Well, am I one that's supposed to? Yes. Oh, well, here's 6012. I don't see where I'm supposed to. See? Doesn't that make sense? So the guy that asked you working for somebody. Go ahead.
Yeah, I got a question. So you stated earlier that kids are considered property, correct?
Why don't we look it up? Yes, I did say that, but let's look it up in Black's Law Dictionary and let's see what property is.
Okay.
No, they're not property until you do something. You label them property, okay?
Okay.
Once you tell your child he's property. Now, let me ask you that question. Have you ever heard of land, L-A-N-D, land taxes?
No.
Land taxes or patent?
Land, L-A-N-D, land taxes.
Yeah.
No, you haven't?
Yes or no?
There's no such thing as land. No, you haven't? You've never heard of land taxes. So land is what? What do they call land? Property. Why do they call it property? Because it's got a very unique definition So it's called property taxes. But I got a house on it. That's called improvements. Well, why do they call my house improvements? It's got a very unique definition. So when I go to court, I got all this lined up. Well, Your Honor, I live on the land. So I one time took my property, converted it to land, and told the bank to get their house off my land or they're going to have to pay me. It didn't go very well with them. I don't know, it lasted 4 or 5 years. They finally brought the cops and physically removed me from it. But I got 5 years out of it. Do you see what I'm saying? You're asking me a question. Does a person that works for social have to, I don't know. You have to, let's see what you're doing. So, can somebody go online, put in eminent domain, definition, Black's Law, and let's read it. Then we'll do property, and you'll tie the two together, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Has the inherent power of a governmental entity to take privately owned property, comma, especially land, comma, and convert it to public use, subject to reasonable compensation for the taking.
Now, but mostly property. Now, let's look up the word property in Black's Law Dictionary. I'm trying to show you. See, what they have is they have their own language. They have a language that they speak. And what they're doing is they're bastardizing the words so that you think they're saying up, down, up, and they're really saying left, right, left. But we don't know any difference. I know the difference because, see, I have a glossary page. When I go in there, I give them the glossary page. If they don't use it, then I don't have no meeting of the minds. Once I get to court and I don't know what they're saying, I tell them, I'm confused. You know, he'll ask me, what's your first name? Are we using my glossary page? No. Okay, my first car was. We didn't ask you for your first car. Yeah, you did. Are we using my glossary? No. Well, that's what you said then. See, I don't know what you're saying. I don't understand. I can't figure it out. I'm confused. Help me out here. You're telling me something that you're saying you're not saying it. I object. See? In other words, it's a zoo. Why? Because I know what they're saying, and that irritates them. All right, let's look up the word property in Black's Law. Go ahead.
Because I encounter, when I do that, I picked that up on a class from you a while back, and when I asked the adjudicator a question, he goes, well, you have a standby counsel, you can ask him, but I can't answer any other questions. And he plays that stupid role with me all the time. How do I get back at him?
Okay, what you do is you tell him, okay, for an example, they'll ask you something. I don't know, what can I do? Not a problem. Then I define it for them. We're here for a property tax case. Property is a 1967 Chevy Corvette with a trunk and a 6-cylinder and a 2-speed automatic. That's property. No, it's not. Then you better answer my question or that goes down. See, now it's on the record. I make it on the record. It doesn't matter to me. See, I can't tell we got a counsel on the side. Okay, so then he'll use my glossary page. I always start every argument with, are you using my glossary page? No. Then that means any word they say is not on my glossary page. Then I become absolutely ignorant. See? Because if you can't answer it, that means you're asking words that don't exist. Okay? What's your name? In Klingon? Or in French? Well, in English. Okay? In legalese English? Or, see, I'm going to make them tell me. If they don't tell me, I object, and then I don't answer it. I object. I plead the fifth. See, I plead the fifth. What are you doing? Well, he won't tell me, and I don't understand. I'm not an attorney, and my counsel is an idiot. See? Now, let me tell you what I have. I wrote a contract, and it says, I blank attorney. Then I put in what I wanted to say. Represent Carrie in the following blank. So I can write it in because it's going to change. I will challenge jurisdiction as he wants. Period. If not, and he loses, he pays everything. Goes to jail, pays the fines. If I challenge anything else, I pay the fine if we lose. Here, sign this. No, then he ain't my counsel. See? I put him on notice. And then I signed it. I got a place for me to sign, a place for him to sign. I signed it, write his name in, sign it, and then give it to him. He can sign it. See, when I got indicted, that's what I did. I wrote a contract, told the attorney, "Are you my attorney?" "Yeah." "You work for me or the judge?" "Well, I work for you." "Then here, sign this." Because if you do what I say and you work for me and you do what I say, you'll have nothing to worry about. If you work for somebody else, you've got a big problem, bud. I ain't signing that. "Oh, so you don't work for me?" "Yeah, I work for you." "Then sign it." I ain't signing that, then you don't work for me. So when we got in front of the judge, I told the judge, "We got a problem. The man works for you. He's more worried about you than me." "Well, we're paying him." That's what I thought. "I'll pay him if he signs it." See, in other words, when I get there, it's all straightened out before we start. Does that make sense to you, or does that help you at all?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
See,
that's really
when I look at stuff, I don't look at it the way you look at it. Okay? See, when I see it, I see the outcome before it gets here. So what I try to do, especially on the Internal Revenue Service, the Internal Revenue Service shows me their muscles, yet there's nothing written on them. So what I do is I beat them up with paper. I'm going to tell you how desperate the IRS got with me. We had a meeting with them on site, or I said site, I meant on Zoom or Skype, whatever it is. We're using Title 26. The IRS agent said, "Your Honor, will you tell him to stop using Title 26? It has no legal effect."
That's what you wanted to hear?
I said, "Well, what?"
That's what you wanted to hear?
Well, yeah, I told him, I said, "Well, since it don't have any legal effect, if you look at his argument, he's saying willful failure to file with 7203. That's Title 26, isn't it? Or is that 27? "Well, that's 26. Well, then it has no legal effect. We're leaving." The judge says, "Okay." And the IRS attorney, the prosecutor said, "Well, Your Honor, could we have this case closed?" He said, "Absolutely." So we got it in the mail that this case is closed or has been dismissed for lack of for no legal effect.
Okay.
It's closed.
We're out of time.
It's not a problem. I'm going to give one more. Okay. If anybody wants anything we talked about tonight, let Ed know. He should have it.
Our next call will be March the 9th.
I looked up what is private property, and that was really good.
Okay. Let's read it real quick.
The ownership of tangible and intangible goods by an individual has exclusive rights over it. The transfer of private property can take place only by the owner's consent or through sale or through its presentation as a gift.
That's why now you understand.
Basically turning it into income and giving it back to the feds.
Right. Well, there's a way to do that. And see, your children are gifts because we fill out certain paperwork and we don't understand it. I can give you a list of words to look up in Black's Law Dictionary so that next time you'll understand it, you'll see what they're doing, and it's not what you think. It's completely different. But anyways.
Hey, Kerry, could we loop back to... Hey, Kerry, could we loop back to 31 U.S.C. 3124 D2?
I don't care.
You were going to tell us what to look for with the word property there.
Okay. If you look at it under eminent domain, it says they can take. So what happens if you don't pay for your property, they'll take it. But the problem they're doing is they're using an illegal element. So according to 3124, you cannot tax or use in the tax federal obligations. The federal obligation is defined in Title 18, Section 8. So where the problem comes is you're paying a debt with a debt. So my question is, see, and I put it in there, since it says I can't pay debt with debt, I will be glad to pay my property tax with my electric bill, my gas bill, my car payment, and my cable bill. I'll just transfer that over there for the next 2 years. Well, then what we want? Well, you can't take the other. So what I do is, I in other words, you see, I look at things different. And I hit them with strange stuff, and they're saying, "What are you nuts?" No, but I'm not an attorney. So, anyways, hopefully you learned something tonight. The next one is March. Ed said March 9th.
Yeah. I want to thank everybody for coming on tonight.
Yeah, I do too. Thank you so very much.
Yep. Thanks, Gary. Thanks, Ed, from Hawaii. Bye-bye now.
Thanks, Gary. Thanks,
Ed.
Oh,
man, okay. Yep.
Is there a way to get in contact with you away from the group?